Hey there, listeners. Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So, today we're going to be talking about the Life as We Knew It by Susan Beth Pfeiffer. This book was published originally in 2008, and yes, I'm only now getting to it. I know, story of any reader's life to have a TB read pile like the size of planet Earth. I mean, I'm pretty sure my list could wrap around the earth 3 times. But yeah, so the book follows Miranda, and it follows the events of an asteroid hitting the moon. But it hits the moon with such force and impact that it knocks the moon, the whole orbit of the moon, closer to the Earth. As we all know scientifically, the moon does have a lot of effect. It does have lots of effects on planet Earth. It does control the tides. There is this push and this pull with the gravitational force of the moon. So just think of the devastating effects of it being closer. I mean, in the book Miranda lives in Pennsylvania, so she kind of lives in the middle of nowhere. She's kind of lucky in that respect. She is very, very lucky because she's away from the coast, and massive tsunamis pretty much wipe out a lot of life. After that, the moon's gravity, it starts to awaken dormant volcanoes. The magma was so far from eruption, but now that the moon is closer, the gravitational pull is having the same effect on magma as it does on water. So volcanic eruptions, cloud cover, lots of cloud cover. Just think dinosaurs. That's kind of what led to their extinction. And there's a lot, really hot summers right after the tsunamis, before the volcanic eruptions, and then really devastatingly cold winters. And then you also have rolling blackouts, obviously. There's a lot to unpack, and there's a lot that's going into the novel. And I just love, from a scientific aspect, I love that it is scientifically accurate. We will never really know what would happen under these circumstances, but given our knowledge of science and what we do know of how the moon affects our planet, everything is 100% believable. And I really, really like that. I really like a story that lures me in. It doesn't really make me question the science, because I wasn't questioning it. I was just like, oh my god, this is terrible. This is terrible. I'm like, oh my god. Right? And that was me when I was reading this book. But I didn't question the believability of it. I was very much engaged because it did come off as believable. These are just natural occurring disasters, just heightened. And it was 100% believable. And I really do like a story that is that believable. What also really worked for the believability was Miranda's voice. The story is written in diary entries. You got your month, you got your day, and it's being written by a teenage girl. Pfeiffer did an amazing job capturing the voice of this teenage girl. I mean, right at the beginning, right after everything starts to happen, Miranda just kind of thinks, well, life's just gonna go on as normal. And then, she sees her mother reacting. She's like, my mom's overreacting. My mom's, making us do this. She's making us do that. She's a teenager. She's not really understanding the grasps of the seriousness of the situation. At least not until much later. I don't mean much later in the book. I mean days later. Things continue to happen, and it's just like, okay, all right. I'm so glad Mom was super prepared now. All the critiquing is just like, wow, Mom really knows how to survive the apocalypse. I could only hope I would be that resourceful if I were in her place. But I really do like Miranda's voice, and I like how she tells the story. I like how she captures the stress her mother is under. I like how she also has a little brother and an older brother. I like that we are able to capture the tension in that family dynamic, to see just how stressful this whole situation is. You've got the older brother and the mom who do know exactly what the situation is. You have this family struggling and rationing their food because they don't know what is going to happen, and they want to make sure that the youngest of them does survive. This is like such a gut-wrenching, realistic story, and it really did capture my attention from beginning to end. And you have, those really great scenes, when she just wants to be a kid. She just wants to be a kid and enjoy a summer vacation, but life as she knew it is changing. Things are changing, and they're becoming really stressful. It's becoming devastating. People she knows, they're dying, either due to starvation, or they're just leaving, and then they're entering this unknown world that is full of, volcanic eruptions and tsunamis and vigilantes and, motorcycle gangs or something like that. I'm just thinking, what happens during a major apocalypse? Well, you've got, nomadic people who are just struggling to survive, and they don't care who they rip off. Survival of the fittest, man. Can't really fault them. But it's a really strange new world that these characters are in and they're entering. And I just love the realism for it. I love the way that Pfeiffer was able to really capture Miranda's voice in the storytelling. I love that she was able to tell the story in such a realistic way. I'm doubted for a second. I'm reading this book, and of course I know it's a work of fiction, because obviously the world has not come to an end. The moon is not closer to the earth. If it was, I'd probably be dead because I live in Florida. And I'm pretty sure Florida's in the sink in the next century. But what's really, interesting is just how real the storytelling is, Oh, pardon me. It's just very grounded. Pardon me. Ooh, pardon me. Sorry. The story, like I said, it's just really grounded in that realism. From the voice to the way it captures the natural disasters and the way it captures their need for survival, you really are captivated by just how genuine the story is. It's just, like I said, there wasn't a moment that I just didn't doubt that this was real. Fully knowing I'm reading a book and I know it's not real, but it just, from the way it was written, capturing, diary entries, that style of writing, and then the way she was able to kind of really capture that mom-daughter tension, those dynamics, the ones with her and her brothers and her father and stepmom, the way she just wants to kind of live her life for even a little bit, even during the summer when she goes to the to the lake so that she can swim I thought it was so well done. It really was captivating. It really was executed, in my opinion, perfectly. There's nothing in the story that says that this is not happening. And when a story really grips you, when really grounds you in its realism, I think that's really good, because you forget that the outside world is your reality, and you're just so submerged in the story that you think this is your new reality. And it's just so believable, from the voice to the storytelling to the world building to the science. It's so 100% believable. I was able to get lost in it, and I didn't want to put it down. I was just reading. I needed to know what was going to happen next, and I really do appreciate that from the storytelling. I think it was so well done. I think it was so well told that there's really nothing else I can say other than, for me, this was a 5 out of 5 star book. Absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to read the rest of the series. Yes, I do own them. So, 100% highly recommend Life as We Knew It. Can't begin to tell you that it was perfect. It was a perfect novel. There was nothing bad I could say about it. I thought it was grounding. I thought it was realistic. I thought it was believable, It was so heartbreakingly believable that to doubt its realisticness just makes me doubt my own reality, if that makes sense. 5 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, please remember to purchase the book from your local bookstore or online book retailer. All I ask is that you get the book off of someplace other than Amazon. You may think, well, it's cheaper on Amazon. There's a reason for that. When publishers sell the books to Amazon, they sell them to them at a discount rate, because really they're just paying for housing in a warehouse. When they sell it to bookstores, they sell it to them at list price, because bookstores not only are they paying for someplace, but they're also supporting the staff of the business, and shipping costs as well. So that list price is important, because authors tend to only get 10%. Starting, I studied book contracts in college. Starting contracts usually give authors 10% per sale. So if you're selling the book, they're selling the book at a discount rate to Amazon, and the book gets sold at, a cheaper rate, they're only going to get 10% of that sale. Whereas if you sell it at full list price, yes, 10% of that sale, it's still 10%. But if the book is sold at full list price, that means the author themselves as well end up getting more profit. But you know what? You don't have to support the author that way. You can support the author, if you can't purchase the book, by leaving your own review online, sharing the book on Instagram or TikTok. Just spreading the word is another great way to support the author without actually purchasing the book, because just because you didn't purchase it doesn't mean someone else isn't going to purchase it. Making noise for the author is another great way to support the author if you cannot financially support them. So on that note, I hope you all continue to support me here by liking this podcast, subscribing to my podcast, and sharing it with all your book loving friends. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.